What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Thursday night. You know what that means. It's time for Thrifty Business. Yay!
Yes.
I realized I had the wrong picture up. Craig was getting a little bonus love there. I'm like, oops, wrong picture. Oh. What's going on, everybody? I'm Vegas Jay. I'm your one host, and with me is my producer and often co-host, Debbie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. What's going on? Just watching the Thunderbirds fly over our house, getting ready for an Air Force show this weekend.
Cool as hell. All right, let's get right to our first segment, and we'll introduce our guest. Time for Jay's Tiki Talk, where each week I drink a different mug. I don't drink mug. I drink a different rum out of a different mug, and I try it, match up to our guest. And our guest tonight is Anne. All right, let me see if I can do it here. Zarraonandia.
Pretty close. Zarraonandia. Pretty close.
Zarraonandia. All right, close. Woo!
Yeah.
All right. So I think you're our first guest with the last name that begins with a Z. So I thought it was a cheap, easy way for me to drink one of my favorite rums is Zaya.
Ooh.
So I figured the Z's should go together.
Absolutely.
And Anne was a nationally ranked tennis player. And back in the days, although not true, it was said that tennis rackets were strung with cat gut. So I thought I would drink out of a cat tiki mug.
Great.
There was no tennis tiki mugs. So my wife's like, hey, I got an idea. Your tiki cat mug.
Very new. Very good.
What you got tonight, Deb?
Okay. Well, I have from the Smuggler's Cove, one of my favorite tiki mugs, because that's in the Bay Area, and Anne's in the Bay Area, kind of, sort of. And a little squirt of plantation rum with some ginger ale.
Nice. You having any cocktail for us tonight, Anne?
No, I'm going to have a little lemonade a little bit later, but I'm drinking water all day.
Cool. All right. We'll sit back and relax, enjoy the show, and we'll see you in about 25 minutes. Okay. And there I think. Okay, there. I think YouTube's being persnickety, but we will roll through it. All right. What time is it, Deb? It's time for the right screen, and let's try that again. Hey, there we go. It's time for our scores of the week. These are those things that you should be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting.
Yes, yes.
Ooh, Robert Graham.
Oh, I love finding these. They're so easy. Once you identify them, you can just pick them out. We paid $5.99, free shipping, and sold it for full price, $39.99. We sell every Robert Graham shirt that we find.
Now, what I would recommend in your opening photo is to have one of those cuffs, since that's the whole point of a Graham shirt.
You're right.
Talk to your photographer.
I will.
Him, roll one back, because that's the whole point. I mean, I see you did it here in the close-up, but definitely, we all know our customers never get past picture one.
That's true. Good tip.
Oh, Debbie sold books?
We are selling a lot of books lately. I love these Uncle Arthur Bible story books. I a lot of times I collect them. I'll find a couple here, a couple there, and I just keep buying them until I have a full set. So we paid $5 for the set and sold it for the full price, $99.99 plus shipping. Whoop,
whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, they're great books. And a Western Wailing Wall finished stitch temple. Okay, we accepted a best offer of $30 on this, and then they paid the shipping. But you will never guess where this came from. Did I say I paid $5 for it?
No, you didn't.
Okay. Remember when you had your booth, your antique booth? What was that called? Sin City Antique Booth?
Yep.
Okay. One time in the back, in that little building in the back, they had like a garage sale. I bought this in there that long ago, and it finally sold. So it is an official Profit Pile alumni.
I like that. Profit Pile alumni. Yes.
Yes. I love that picture. And here's another Profit Pile alumni. I can't believe that I actually paid $9.99 for this a long time ago. He sold for $24.99, and we paid the shipping, obviously. So he was around a long time, and Grumpy is finally gone.
Grumpy is out of here.
And it's a small, medium size, so that could be why it took so long.
All right, so you all been learning about CDs from me, and now it's time to start learning cassettes, and I will be having a cassette webinar coming up in the near future, because there is a whole different mindset to cassettes. But part of that is when things aren't worth it by themselves, you put them groups, but make sure they're like groups. So here's 9 90s alternative cassettes, and they sold for $40.
Nice.
And they were listed less than a week too, so they went nice and quick. I have shared one of these before. I've alternative sourcing places. I found these at Ross, Dress for Less, and these are Levi's silver tab striped overalls. And as you can see, it was sold in euros. That means it's sold on the European eBay website, which I list directly on. And we paid, I think, like $17 for these, and I sold it for $83 plus shipping.
Nice. I always look for any kind of overalls. Never found any of them.
And last week, I think I shared my Robert Plant concert programs that I sold together. Oddly enough, 1 week later, I sold my 2 Who programs together. And I picked them up at the same store at the same time, paid $6 for the pair, sold the pair for $28 plus shipping.
Nice. One of my favorite bands.
All right. So anybody in the chat been to Mama's Fish House? And if you don't know Mama's Fish House, it is in Maui. It is probably the most expensive restaurant in all of Maui. They make a pretty decent cocktail, and they have fantastic dinners, fantastic seafood. So this is the entrance to Mama's. This is Mama's itself. And I know my mom's like, I've been there. I know you've been there, Mom. Besides my mother. And then this is the view from the restaurant. So you are definitely paying for the view. I mean, you do not get more idyllic than that. It's just gorgeous. Oh, Brenda's been there. Okay, so the reason I showed you all those pictures were because I sold a Tiki mug that usually I would tell you never to buy, to sell, because they're so common. I got to imagine there's 2.57 million in existence. So it is the glass Tiki mug with a smiley face on the front and the frowny face on the back. But these are specifically labeled Mama's Fish House Maui. And I picked them up for $1 a piece. And I sold the pair for $26. And the unique thing was the buyer was in town and they were here like vacationing, and they needed it for a present for their friend who lived here. So they swung by and picked it up like an hour after I sold them.
Wow, that is awesome.
So all kinds of little tips here. I never would normally list these, just they were just clear ones, but the ones that come from the Polynesian Resort, Disney World, I would list those. The ones from Mama's Fish House, I would list. And if you can find them in the original box from the 70s, the box itself is pretty cool. So that's my little tips on Tiki mugs.
Now, do you have those in your personal collection? Any of those?
Yeah. Well, I don't have the Mama's Fish House ones, but I have them clear. I've got them yellow. I've got them green. I've got them black. So I do. I mean, we all us Tiki people have them. They're just not normally worth a ton.
I have one.
Because they've been made for like 50 years and they're still being made today. So they're not hard to come by. That's why.
So are you saying they're a Sarah?
Yeah, kind of. But they are a good hefty mug. If you're going to make some drinks and give them to your drunk friends and they happen to drop those, they're a good hefty mug that probably won't break. So
good to know.
I wouldn't say Sarah those. I would just say use them for your klutzy friends.
Okay, good to know.
All right, now it's time for my CD scores of the week. Each week, I show you the cool CDs I've sold for crazy amounts of money. This week, it is the Star Wars trilogy, A New Hope soundtrack. So that is technically the first movie that came out in 1977. This was sealed new at a record store for either $8.99 or $9.99. I sold it on Amazon for $60. So
good job.
You think I can't source at record stores? Oh, yes, you can. And then my other one was Donovan. What's Donovan's big hit? Sunshine Superman. Mellow Yellow. Is that Donovan?
Oh, yeah. Is that Donovan?
Yeah. All right. Someone in the chat will tell me. But here's the Donovan CD. And the day I bought this at a record store, it was $8.99. And my wife was also picking at the record store with me. And I said, don't skip Donovan because I'm cool Donovan stuff. And this was the first one I found. $8.99, sold for $72.
Wow. So you sold Star Wars, which is opening in Disneyland pretty soon, and which is in Anaheim. And he recorded this for in Anaheim. Pretty cool.
Look at you connecting. Gertie man. Thank you, Mazzano Blue. All right. So if you don't know anything about flipping CDs, I will teach you. I did a webinar about 3 or 4 months ago. If you go to flippingcds.com, you can download it. It's a 2.5-hour webinar chock full of everything shows you how to conquer the thrift store CDs and the record store CDs.
Yep.
Every week, I'm selling $50, $60, $70, $100 CDs that I'm paying 10 or less from for the most part. So you too can do it. If you saw my thrift haul last week, another thing that goes along with it is music books, and I got a crazy haul. So if you haven't seen the thrift haul yet, go back and watch it. But every week I give away.
You didn't ask me the question this time.
I know, I forgot.
Oh.
So after we get the answer in the chat, then just let me know if you knew.
Okay.
All right. So each week I ask a music type trivia question. The first person in the chat who answers correctly can get the download for free. Now, if you've already seen it, or if you're a Secret Beachcomber in my group at Secret Beach, please don't participate. I know it's fun to answer questions, but you already have seen it or you can see it. So please don't ruin it for someone who hasn't had a chance to see it yet, or maybe can't afford it right this moment. But I tell you what, you're going to learn so much, you'll get your money back in one sale.
That's right.
All right. Oh, look at that. Stacy in the chat, not my wife, but Stacy Risner, spelled correctly, STACI, said best money I ever spent the CD webinar. Awesome.
Oh, yeah. One CD can pay for the whole thing.
Yep. All right. So here's the question. Are you ready?
Yes.
This album was on the top 200 charts for 917 weeks, but only made it to number one once. And that is almost 18 years if you want to do the math.
No clue.
No clue. Oh, Deb, you let me down, Deb.
I mean, I could make up albums, but I can't even remember the titles to albums. I know the bands.
Boom. Mazzano Blue knew it. Mazzano Blue helped me out with my mistake. And boom. Yep. Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd.
Oh, of course.
Top 200 for 18 straight years, but only made it to number one time.
I saw them in concert in Seattle when I was like 17. So.
All right, Mazzano Blue, just hit me up on Facebook after the show, and I will take care of getting you that free download. For the rest of you, I even had a graphic. Duh. There it is.
Nice.
For the rest of you, head over to flippingcds.com. You will not be sorry. You will make so much extra money. Real quick, Felix the Junkyard Cat had a question. Can we list specifically on European eBay? Yes, you can. We will talk more about that in the future. And Scott Walker of the Walker Brothers passed away. Should we try to source it? Yeah, but that's not a lot of people are gonna be looking. So if you didn't have it right away, you probably are not gonna have time to go source it and then flip it. But when someone like Michael Jackson or Scott Weiland from Stone Temple Pilots or Prince dies, you have a little bit of time to actually find some stuff and then flip it. But a very smaller band, a very smaller artist, that window is too short.
And I wanted to say too about your class, there are CDs everywhere. Garage sales, library, book sales, thrift stores. So if you don't have any record stores around you, because you show a lot of big scores you find at record stores, but if you don't have one by you, there's still a chance you can find CDs everywhere.
Hold the presses. Mazzano Blue is not on Facebook. What? All right, Mazzano Blue. TikiPug@gmail. Send me an email and I will still take care of you. No problem. But everyone who took the course, there is a special group just for you. So if you want to get on Facebook, there is a group. And besides that, my thrifting board's on Facebook for free. But yeah, TikiPug@gmail.com. Just send me an email and I'll be more than happy to take care of you. But not everything's winners, is it, Deb?
No, I wish.
Now it's time for our Debs of the Week. Do not let our mistakes be yours. I didn't have a lot of sales last week, but I didn't sell anything bad. So like you, Deb, I had to profile some shit I've had for sale for far too long.
I was going to say, you have that too? I have that.
Yeah, no, we'll start with yours.
Miss Piggy, let's see, what did we pay for her? $3. She's been sitting around for 2.5 years. I thought for sure she would go, but is there a new Muppets movie coming out soon or something? And I will lower the price because I'm sure maybe it's the price, but come on, $21, $22. But yeah, she's still with us. Bless her heart. And then I thought this would sell really quick too. I've had it 2.5 years also and paid $5 for it. It's a pink Indian nativity set. There are a few little chips on it, and I always make sure that the baby Jesus is there, and all the parts are there, so it's still lingering at $29.99. It's gone through, I think, 2 Christmases, almost 3 now. So
And I'm in the same boat with you because the ones I'm sharing are things I've had forever that I thought would be gone by now. Look at this cool trash can made by Tupperware for Disney. And I've had it on sale. I've had it up for like 2 years. It's crazy.
wow. Maybe someone watching this show will.
So, Deb, I don't have make offer.
Oh, but you know what? We get a lot of people that will message us, even if we don't have best offer.
No.
They will
But,
message
one of
us.
those things where maybe if it doesn't sell next week or two, I have this new office. I need trash cans. Maybe shoot, I'll just use it.
Yeah, it's cute.
So that's the one thing I'm shocked is still there. And this I bought as kind of a joke. It's and I called it low rent Bambi and Thumper. It's kind of stoned, drugged out. I mean, look at Thumper. Thumper is just stoned out of his mind. And so I thought it'd be funny if I could try and sell it as not the legit thing, but apparently that hasn't worked because it's been up for almost 2 years.
Well, rearrange your keywords. Maybe put Bambi at the front, and yeah, it's kind of funny.
There is no trash can in this title. Thanks, Lori. You know, it's funny. I'm doing an inventory right now, and I'm catching some mistakes that old assistants made that I hadn't seen before. So there's another one. Yeah, trash can's not in there.
And I didn't catch that one this time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, chat.
Good job.
Awesome. All right, now it's time for where in the world did our stuff go? Each week, I, for sure, sometimes Debbie does, sells items internationally. You already saw my overall sell to Europe. If you are not listing internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers.
That's
and
right.
This week it's Schifferstadt, Germany, which is just outside of Luxembourg, and they really needed a Trader Vic's Tiki Bowl.
Good for them.
This is one box up. This was 4 pounds, and it could have been a shipping tip. It was 4 pounds, 2 ounces, and we had a little overlap cardboard, so with some creative trimming. It was 4 pounds on the dot.
So you can ship it first class instead of priority.
First class, that's right. Save a little bit of money. All right, this week I also have Close Encounters of the Thrifty kind. Just little fun interactions I have sometimes at thrift stores, sometimes connected to stuff that's thrifted. And I do want to point out that Kay in the chat sold something to the guitar this week. I don't think I've ever sold a guitar, so
I haven't listed one.
All right, so I sold a Hawaiian shirt on eBay, and I got a message from the customer. And we all know this. When you get a message from an item that's already gone and delivered, you're like, oh no.
Oh yeah, especially at midnight. Ugh.
Thank you for selling on eBay. He rocked this Aloha shirt.
Aww.
And then they sent me a picture of the happy couple in Hawaii.
Love it.
So how cool is that a customer took time to say, thanks for selling me this $80 Hawaiian shirt.
That is awesome. That's why we do this.
And they look good.
Yeah.
Her dress is great too. So that really tickled me. And you have those days where some customer drives you nuts, and then you get this message, and then it all just kind of evens out.
But I have one problem with this picture. Where's their tiki drinks?
I know. They must have got the picture first before they got the drink.
Yeah.
But you're right.
That's awesome.
All right, now it's time for our thrifty tip of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're outsourcing.
This was from my husband, who is in the chat. Bill's copying and pasting the questions over to us. So it's his idea. When you go traveling, because we go to Vegas, Southern California, check the Facebook Marketplace in those areas. And to the right there, you can see you can actually change the location. So if I say I was going to Bakersfield, I could bring up Bakersfield Marketplace and see if there's anything there that I'm interested in buying to resell. Check Craigslist, OfferUp, all of the different selling platforms. Check for the city that you're going to be in, or even if you're going through a major city.
I love traveling and sourcing.
Stuff is everywhere.
All right, so we have had many, many tips of shop in the office section at your thrift store, mainly because you can find paper, you can find labels, you can find 3-hole punches, you can find great staplers, things you actually need in your office. So, not everything we find is to flip. Sometimes it's stuff we need. However, today, man, there is an overabundance of 3-ring binders at Savers today. But if you notice, there's at least a Frank binder sitting there.
I see it.
You know, Lisa Frank, this stuff is sought after. This logo is the late 90s, early 2000s logo. And so this is the sticker book. There's the inside. And I had grabbed it, obviously, walked away. And then I thought, oh, I didn't look at the shelf that's my eye level, which is weird because I usually look at my eye level. And sitting in the coloring books is a Lisa Frank coloring book, too. So make sure to look through the office supply section. Even if you don't need anything, sometimes there's some fun stuff in the office supply section.
And Lisa Frank are so easy to spot because they're so beautiful.
Angela said, can't see the logo. Sorry, Angela. So there's the older logo. This is the more modern logo. Where is it? There we go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And as my admins nicely reminded me, we have a file in the Thrifty board. If you've never looked in the files, there is so much good content in there. But in the files, there are all the Lisa Frank logos and when they're from. The older the logo, the more sought after the item is. So make sure to keep that in mind.
Awesome.
All right. Now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me. Why? I'm on the wrong thing. That's why. Little tips and tricks, what to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping.
Yes. I was watching a Poshmark video the other day, and she mentioned this box, this 1096L. It comes flat. You know, all these boxes are free. The UPS, the post office will deliver them to us. And I actually got my order. Look. So it's this kind of cute little box. There's the dimensions are there. And this is the VHS DVD size. So you can kind of see it's a little bit bigger. And I guess a lot of people, because I listed some items on Poshmark again the other day. These are good for like dresses and shirts and clothes because Poshmark, you know, they give you a set price. So you probably wouldn't find a whole lot of uses for this box, but it's free. So why not have some in your inventory? And I found out when I went out to our garage, I already had that box in my inventory. I didn't know. So check your boxes once in a while and see what you really have out there.
So funny because my tip is kind of your tip and kind of just what you said. So I have moved offices in the process. I used to have some shipping at the old office. I usually have some shipping supplies over here and over there and over there. Well, my new assistant kind of sorted them out. Yeah, I got a lot of too many things here. So pay attention. Do you see here? Let me zoom in on it. You see this bottom left corner, Deb?
Yep.
That's all. That's all regional B boxes, which you pretty much don't even use anymore.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, don't need any of those. I had a few too many. Oh, look at all the bubble mailers I got. What? We haven't even gotten the tape yet. So yeah, pay attention to your shipping supplies. They are free, but there's no need to hold this much when you can order them for free.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Except at Christmas time. Yeah, they're coming really fast right now. And you know, eBay Open's coming. You have other sellers in town. eBay Open's coming pretty soon. You might just want to hook some people up with some bees. Oh, you know, another tip. You know, you can take those to your post office and they will gladly accept them.
So yeah, I think I'm going to return the regional bees to the post office because I don't think the way now with online discounts and stuff, I don't think we'll ever need regional bees. I haven't used one in so long. It's never been cheaper, especially after the rate increase. There's no need to be taking up space with them. Just
like the C's. I was in line at my post office and a lady was asking for the C's and I almost said, follow me to my house and I can give you as many as you want. Because she really still used them at that time.
All right, Deb, are you shocked by this segment today?
I am.
All right, well, hold on a second. Guess what?
What?
I sold my first thing on Etsy. Apparently, nice. I talk like that too. Yes, my first item while I was standing in Savers today, I was reading my emails, and you don't get a fun little cha-ching like you do on Amazon and eBay. I sent a look at an email, said, congrats, your first sale. And I'm like, yay. And then I had the second thought, I had something listed on Etsy.
And then your third thought, get that off eBay? Is it cross?
No, I didn't have it on eBay. So I realized I started seeing friends selling vintage Tiki stuff on Etsy. And although I want to get on there and get some clothes up, it's for other stuff too. And boom, I sold this little Tiki bowl for $20.
Congratulations. You know what's cool about that card? Look at the little robot. Doesn't he look like your necklace?
Yeah, he sure does. Angela Ritchie said, there is an alert sound. You do have to turn it on, but it's a very quiet cha-ching. All right. Well, here's the thing. I just realized I didn't have the Etsy app on my phone.
Ooh.
Yay! So
Yay.
diversify when you can, because hey, I wasn't going to get that sale on eBay because no one cares about that bowl, but someone cared about it on Etsy.
So did it sell for more or less than you would have thought of, compared to eBay?
I got a couple bucks more than it would have on eBay.
Good.
Time for our eBay tips of the week. Little tips and tricks to help you when you're selling on eBay.
Okay, we were just in Vegas for a week, ASD show and hanging out. And I decided instead of putting my store on vacation, our store on vacation, I did a 10-day handling. And I figured out all the days and everything. And I'm going to keep asking eBay for something between 10 and 5. It would be nice to have 7 days or 8 days. So I had to start with 10 day. And then each day I count it backwards. So I put the steps in here. If you've never done that, you go to your active, you go to edit, and then you pick like your first 1 to 500. And then that box comes up, you click again, and then you'll get into handling, and then you can pick whatever handling time you want. So it's a slight inconvenience when you're on vacation, but we sold $497 worth of items while we were lounging by the pool and hanging out at ASD. Had I put it on vacation, I wouldn't have had those sales. And then what I do is I message them. I thank you so much for your sale. It will ship Saturday, the date. So we came home on Friday, and on Saturday we had all that shipped. I think it was 12 packages. Got them to our post office by 2 o'clock and got them out. And everybody responded and said, thank you so much. So no one seemed to be, mad at us because it was taking a while, but I had it in my handling time. So don't put your store on vacation if you, depending on your circumstances, make some money while you're gone.
And I see Kevin ran in the chat. He said we did 5-day handling time while at ASD, and we partied with Kevin.
Yay, we sure did. I can't wait to see Kevin on the cruise.
All right. Now, I don't normally throw just random sellers under the bus, but there's a real, this is the best way to demonstrate. My eBay tip is make sure your lighting is accurate so the colors of your items are accurate. And bonus tip, don't do an auction for an item that is not going to have people fighting over it. So this seller sold a mug for $12. Now, I'm going to show you how the color really should be. Ready, Deb?
Yep.
Because I just sold mine.
Oh.
This is the actual color of this mug.
Oh, my. That is right. Yeah,
so
that looks kind of drab.
Not 2 versions of this mug. This is the legit actual color of this mug. And so this seller had some bad lighting. And where that will come into play is your customer thinks they're getting a thing that looks this color and shows them a whole different color. And maybe they don't like bright green, blue, or teal, or what the hell you would call this to be specific. And also, I had it as a buy it now, and I just waited till I got a decent offer. And because it wasn't like a rare mug or anything, but throwing a non-rare mug at auction is just kind of a waste of your time.
That is a cool mug.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool mug, but make sure your lighting and your coloring is on point. All right.
Good tip.
Oh, we didn't even do a viewer tip or anything this week.
No, we took a break this week.
All right, I guess. I didn't realize. I'm like, well, we didn't do it.
I have some good ones coming up, though.
All right, cool. All right, Portland, next week, I'll be there teaching a class. Now, it does say April 5th and 6th. Due to a little scheduling issue, we're going to have to remove the 5th class, but we are doing the 6th class. So April 6th in the thrift store class. Going to take you around section by section. We're going to spend 4.5 hours in the thrift store teaching you everything you should buy and everything you should skip. And we will spend a good time in the media section. So even if you have taken my CD webinar right in front of you, firsthand experience, showing you how to use your phone to purchase the correct CDs, cassettes, videotapes, records, all the good stuff there. I love Portland. I tend to end up there at least once a year or so. I ended up there twice last year. I'm ended up there twice again this year. So there's a link down below. So head over to that link. And in 2 weeks, April 11th, our boy Craig Dawson from our friendly neighbors to the north, Canada, is going to be on. Craig runs Craft, the only Canadian eBay group you should be in if you're Canadian. But he has discovered a new way to sell items at auction beyond eBay, and it's called Max Sold. And so we're going to be talking about Max Sold, and Craig's been killing it on Max Sold. So it should be a great episode in 2 weeks because it'll be a whole new platform for you to get involved and sell on. And that's the name of the game. Like I got excited for selling my first thing on Etsy, and now I'm excited to get more things on Etsy because I sold something. Yay.
Yeah, congrats.
So always find new platforms.
That's going to be a great class.
And before we get to Ann, coming up, eBay Open Week. We announced it. Get your tickets. The prices go up. What date? April what?
11th.
April. So the tickets go up in price in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever, 3 weeks. If you're coming, get your ticket now. Don't spend extra money. But if you're coming and want to make your travel plans, here is the 2019 event schedule. Every year we have the same set of events. So we start with those of you coming in super early on Sunday night. We have an Ash Juice party at the Double Down Saloon. Ash Juice is way more tasty than it sounds. If you don't believe me and Debbie, my 76-year-old mother is in the chat. She will tell you it's yummy too.
And it can always be different. So that's what's mystery about it.
And Monday, for those of you in the Secret Beach, we have our big Secret Beach bash. So if you've not joined the Secret Beach and you want to come to eBay Open to go to the bash, take over an entire bar. We have a whole roasted pig luau. We do have vegetarian options. We have a band play for us, cocktails, door prizes. It's a blast. So that's Monday. Tuesday, for anyone who wants to come, we have a big old tiki party at Frankie's Tiki Room. Wear your best Hawaiian shirt or muumuu. And me and two of my guy friends, we wore our muumuus last year. Oh, look at that. Hang on, Deb. Let me throw you up there. Show it, Deb.
Put it back. We were there. We were here.
And then Thursday night, eBay has their big party. So Friday, I have my thrift class on steroids. And what that means is just like the other classes I teach, but this time, besides me, I have 9 instructors. We do a couple hours of classroom time. We do some by the pounds, by the at the bins time, and then in the thrift store with all 10 instructors. So I'll be in the media section. I'll be in the men's t-shirts. Debbie will be in the books. I think Joy's going to come up and be in the jeans section. So tons of instructors to help you out. All the signups for things like that will be up soon because people already booked their flights and they're itching. So I will get the signups very soon. And great question in the chat, even though it's already been answered. I'll answer it online, or on the show. Max Sold is not just for Canadians. So don't not tune in next week or in 2 weeks because you're not in Canada. Okay?
That was my first question too. Just for Canada?
I think it's where it started, but it's already expanding and it's going to keep expanding. So this is the time to be in and understand a product at the ground level, so to speak. And Craig and Rick have been killing it. So we want to see. We want to learn from the experts.
Craig's a lot of fun. I wanted to say too, the early bird, the next price on that open is going to be like $500, $499. And if you can't afford or it sells out and you can't go to open, still come that week and hang out.
Absolutely. All right. Let's get our guest in here. And we'll find out all about Babs too. I can't wait.
Oops. Yeah. I was a huge Babs fan until I discovered Hard Rock.
All right. So YouTube was being wonky and it won't let me turn Ann on. Like it never looked like she was off, but as you can see, Ann's out there. So Ann, will you do me a favor? So you can hear me. Leave and come back. Just get out and then come right back. Thank you, Ann. Yeah, every once in a while, hey, technology. It was like, burp.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, you're in a whole new house and there could be gremlins in your office and all those kinds of things.
Yeah, definitely. So
there she is.
Right, let me ring the doorbell. Hey everybody, it's Ann. How are you, Ann?
Good, how are you?
Hi, Ann. So happy to see you on. Thanks for coming on.
Sure. Excited.
I am dandy, and I love that shirt you're wearing, by the way.
Yeah, it's authentic from Hawaii.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice. I love it. All right. So let's talk pre-eBay, which is like, forever ago. You were there at the beginning, but we're going to start before that because you had your own mail order business, which when I was reading this, I was like,
mail order?
no, not so much mail order, but you sold, as you can all see behind her, Barbra Streisand stuff. And I was just thinking, especially like, whatever, 25 years ago, how'd you find enough to have a whole mail order business? That's what was blowing my mind, and I can't wait to hear.
Well, when I was much younger, I used to go out and look for Barbra Streisand records again at the thrift stores or wherever record stores, and I'd buy something, a magazine, a Rona Barrett magazine, or on the cover of all the Life magazines that she was on, and I would buy one and bring it home and say, "Oh, I already have this." So I had a whole stack of all the extra stuff that I had. So year after year. And sometimes I'd buy a whole giant box of stuff. And this is like in the back of Gold Mine magazines. I would do all the magazines that you could buy from the classified ads. I'd put my own classified ads in. And I had a classified ad in the Barbra magazine, which was just a fan magazine from the 80s. But that was the only thing that we had as fans. So I had some things in the back and people would write me. And I became pen pals. And I had letters and letters from fellow Barbra Streisand fans from around the world. And I realized because I had so much extra stuff that I would make my own catalog. And so I would do it by typing on an old computer, I mean, very, very basic computer, and Xeroxing, and actually having one of those hole punches that you do in the middle and you fold it over. And I bought ad space on the catalog of catalogs. I was always trying things like that. And so for $1, people would buy my catalog, and then I would get 300, 500 mailing labels of Barbra Streisand fans that wanted the catalog. So once I'd ship that out to them, I started getting orders. People sent me checks and money orders, and pre-eBay, not one person ever flaked. I never had a bad check.
Wow.
And so I would say up to $25 worth of stuff, I'll send your stuff for $4. My prices were very, very low in the shipping, and I went every day to the post office with all the posters and magazines and records and books. And I really was, at that point, the only game in town for all the Barbra Streisand fans. So we had, when she went on concert tour in the early 90s, we had a reunion of all the fans, and I had my catalog, and somehow the catalog got to Barbra herself. And so Barbra looked at it and said, this is from my friend who took it to her, and said, "This is very cute. However, the prices are too low." So I raised my prices, and the fans went crazy. "Anne, you've raised your prices." I said, "Barbra said." So that was my beginning of, this was, again, pre-eBay. So I had the corner of the market. I was the only person really doing this on the level that I did. And I just loved it because every day I'd go to my post office box and there would be a check or a money order, an order, and people needed it because they couldn't get it locally. So I would specialize in all the local magazines, and everything I would buy in multiples when it came new on the market, and I would sit on it. So I learned exactly what people could get and what they couldn't get, because copy number 1 went to me and the rest of them became part of my inventory and stock.
Nice.
So that's how I got started in that. And I just loved going to the post office every day, not only getting money, but then delivering, mailing packages. So eBay was perfect for me, except the glut happened. Everybody else could sell their Barbra stuff too, and I wasn't the only game.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
Those rare things weren't so rare after all.
Not anymore.
So pre that though, were you a hustler like that, where you would look at things and think, I got an angle here? Was that always kind of inside of you?
Always. I knew pop culture. I knew what people liked. I knew who was hot. I knew the celebrity that just died. I had an interest in all sorts of movies and music. And so I knew a little bit about everything. And so movie posters, since I was always looking in the back of Gold Mine magazine anyway, I could see what people were selling. So I would go to a movie and they would give you a press book or something. They'd give you a screening program. I would look around on the empty seats and grab the extras, because then I know that I put ads in Gold Mine magazine too. And I went to movie memorabilia shows. And so before eBay existed, I did the actual shows where you'd pay $25 and have all your stuff.
Wow.
And I'd get autographs of all the celebrities that I had if I'd go to the AT&T golf tournament. And I had a 45 with Don Johnson and Barbra on the cover. They did one song together, and I put it out in front of him, and he goes, "Oh no!" And then quickly I put another one of a record that he actually made, and he signed it. So I would have multiple things of whoever I would see as far as my star hunting, and then I did celebrity photography on top of it. So everywhere that I had stuff, I was always thinking, who could I get to sign this so then it would become more valuable? So yes, I always had an eye for that. And that's, again, eBay sort of fit that bill as well, because I knew what was at least hot at the time. And then it gets old, and then it becomes more valuable for some people too.
That's right.
Yeah, I still do that. I saw The Hateful Eight at an advanced screening, which is a Quentin Tarantino movie, and they gave you a poster, and it was random, but there was like I think 8 of the different characters. So obviously The Hateful Eight, and so I went to the potty, and sitting right on top of the trash can was one just sitting there. So I just like, ding, I'll take that. I'll sell that.
Yeah.
One online. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People always leave stuff behind that
Absolutely.
others will pay money for. So
Yeah.
heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason I drank out of the cat mug tonight, and the reason that my live audience is wearing this t-shirt.
Yay.
Nice. Is because you were a nationally ranked double tennis player. I think you're our first official true athlete.
Well, I can tell you among the Barbra fans, I'm probably the only tennis player as well. And I did one time get to play on her tennis court. She wasn't there then. She had a house in Malibu that she gave to the state of California. She doesn't live there now. And since then, I think it had some difficulties in the latest Malibu fire. But I knew that nobody really played tennis in the Barbra world. And so even in the eBay world, I haven't run across too many. Occasionally I do, because I still have old wooden tennis rackets. One of my prime selling items is dead tennis balls. And that's a ball that won't bounce anymore, like when you open it out of the can. So I sell those to pet owners every single day. I think last year I sold between 6,000 and 9,000 tennis balls. Wow. And I can put them in large flat rate box. That costs one thing. I can put them in, medium flat rate box. I know exactly how many fit. And I know that if they go to California or closer where I am, it's going to cost X. So that's just sort of one of those staple items. And I'm no longer playing that frequently, but I do still have connections in the tennis world, and I'll never run out of tennis balls. I have it on Craigslist. I have it everywhere you go. So, I mean, at various eBay groups, I'm known as the tennis ball lady as well. But that love of something, your passion that you really already have a background in, you can't overlook selling things that you know about, because then people will ask you all sorts of questions. So I have, galore tennis magazines, and like I said, wooden tennis rackets, and anything having to do with tennis. I also use that as another little niche besides the Barbra niche, the tennis niche. I love Disney. That could be my own another niche. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And I just feel sorry for the people that don't have the passions, because then they don't have anything. What do I sell? I said, you've got to be kidding. How can you not decide?
So how'd you end up playing tennis at her place?
We had one of these.
I just got to get close to Babs.
I did. Of course, I had 2 rackets, so there's somebody that I could teach right then. So, I was a teacher as well, so I could teach them. But we had this thing called the Barbra Reunion. After the catalog, we had a meeting of all the people that had gone to her concert, and we rented the space. And she had, at that time, 8 different houses. And it was on the cover of Architectural Digest. So whenever you could get the issue from 1993 where she's on the cover, we went to that house and we saw where she had done different things in her career, album cover here or whatever. But I knew the tennis court was there. So I had my 2 rackets. I had 2 rackets and some tennis balls, and I taught somebody to play. So I could say that I played there. Again, the Barbra fans aren't big tennis players themselves, but one of the highlights for me. Unfortunately, it wasn't with her, but she wasn't necessarily an athlete herself. She played a little bit in the way we were, and so I wish I had given her lessons. Let's just put it that way.
So, did you play a whole game, a whole set, or just a couple of volleys back and forth?
Oh, I just tried to get new people out because they're missing him. So I had to go pick up the ball and toss it to another person. So I played. I actually hit one ball over the net, ran over, and returned my own shot. So I mean, that is something that I had to do also.
Stacy and I were at Paisley Park, which is where Prince lived and worked. And we took the One VIP tour. And the One VIP tour allows you to go into his main studio and record yourself singing over one of his tracks.
That's right.
And so in the meantime, while we're taking turns going into the booth with a producer to record, we're in the main area where he worked on the piano right before he passed. And his ping pong table was there. And they said, while you're here, feel free to play ping pong. And Stacy and I were the only 2 who wanted to play. I'm like, you're on the Prince tour. You can play on his table with his paddles, with the balls, with his symbol on it. And we played. We went in and we said, anyone else want to play? And no one did. So we kept playing. We went in and sang and came back, and still it was empty. So we're like, shit, we'll just go play again. Like, you're here. Even if you suck, hit the ball once. Get it?
Exactly.
You're there.
That's right. That's right.
So what was your rank? What was the best rank you had? You were ranked in doubles, correct?
I did play singles, but I was a much better doubles player. My doubles partner was my sister Carrie, my younger sister Carrie, so I was always the captain. We played through junior tennis, and we got beaten by some of the best. I can say that my actual pro tennis career lasted about 3 weeks. I knew the travel and the expense. In those days, it cost about 25 grand to go play on the tour. And I'd been beaten by enough people through college and juniors that I knew that my ranking wasn't going to be that high there. So I went straight to teaching, where I was automatically better than everyone. So I'm a very competitive person. But when you turn 30 and then 35, they have the beginning of what they call the seniors tour. So my sister and I, senior at 30 years old, that's just it's an insult. It's an insult.
My gosh.
So
I'm a double senior.
we traveled around the United States and played on grass tennis courts, on clay courts, because in California, all we have are hard courts. So we played in Key Biscayne, won our first doubles tournament. Then we played in Marion Cricket Club on the grass lawn tennis courts in all whites. You had to wear white tennis clothes. Won the 35 nationals. So 2 different times we were ranked number 1 in the country. And it was enough to be able to just take a week off from my vacation of teaching to go play in a tennis tournament. And I couldn't have done this as a regular lifestyle. It's just really, really too exhausting. But my love for tennis is still there because I got to play a lot of great places against a lot of great people.
How fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Deb, all these years I've been doing the show, I've had a lot of hustlers on the show. I think Anne might be the best hustler we've ever had. I mean, think of all the things we haven't even got to eBay yet, and all the different angles. She's like, look, I'm good, but I'm not good enough. So shit, I'll be better than anybody else teaching. I mean, I love the angles.
Well, and that's why I love teaching eBay, because my family and friends are just tired of me talking about eBay, as you know. So you got to find the people that will listen. So when you teach eBay, people actually listen. And then you can tell them all the stories, the things you shipped wrong, you sent the wrong thing to somebody in Russia, and then they send it back. I mean, all the stories that we all have. And I so enjoy your show for that reason, because it hits home with all the things that we already know about, we want to share with others. So
great point.
Yeah.
All right. So
Debbie,
let's get into eBay now with her, because we've been talking Babs, and I tried to sell the show to everybody. I said fuzzy balls.
Oh wait, we got to talk about the champagne.
Okay. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Tell us about the champagne.
My contact through the Barbra catalog, the man who took the catalog to Barbra, he had a trade for me. He couldn't sell it. I said, I never did get the Barbra champagne. It was sold one day only in her concert in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand 93, 94 New Year's Eve, and they didn't have a liquor license. Sony was in charge of selling it, so they pulled them. So I met this guy who was in charge of that company, and I said, I really, really have to have a bottle of the Barbra champagne. He said, I'll trade you one People magazine where I need Barbra on the cover. I said, great. So the champagne was selling for $100. And I did hear from him that Barbra bought it wholesale for $18. And champagne doesn't last that long, but it was a decent champagne. So if I had it that was worth at least $100, I sold it to the Rosie O'Donnell show for $300 because Barbra was a guest the next day. They contacted me. I bought my first flatbed scanner. So that's how I scanned things to then put listings on eBay with the flatbed scanner. That was because of the Barbra champagne. Now, that was not my only bottle of champagne because I'd never sell my own copy. But it was one of those things that as they're drinking it, and sometimes you can still find it on YouTube, it sometimes gets taken down, where at the very end of the show, Rosie pops the cork and Barbra and then her husband, James Brolin, Barbra's husband, were drinking the champagne that I had just sold them the day before.
Oh, I love that.
And my claim to fame is that the Barbra fans all knew, hey, Ann, you sold her that champagne. I said, that's right. That's right.
And then to bring it full circle, the TV, I think it's canceled now, the TV show that James Brolin is on.
Oh, yeah.
Life and pieces.
Yeah. He always drinks out of tiki mugs. See how we've come full circle?
Yeah.
Wow.
See that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you have all the angles. I just absolutely love that. So, all right, let's get into eBay. So you jumped into eBay pretty early. I think earlier than me. I think you said you started selling in 98?
July 1st, July 6th, 98. And I was looking for some Barbra stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. So 1998. So I was looking for Barbra stuff because somebody had to have a CD. There wasn't a lot on there, but of course, I always found ways that I could buy more things. And so I thought, well, maybe I should try selling something. So I just picked up something. It was the Bee Gees sheet music sold it for $3. I had to take a photograph of it, scan the photo, and this is post champagne, so I have the scanner. And then somebody sent me a check in the mail, my PO box, and then it took me a couple days to get it shipped. So it was one of those kind of things that I already could do because of the mail order catalog, but it was very laborious. And so each, as I call hoop, that eBay changed and made easier and sometimes more difficult, just became a new way of doing business till it became really more professional for the people that are doing it, selling on a regular basis. So, I was hooked, and I'm all about the feedback. I'm heading towards 10,000, which
Nice.
doesn't seem like a lot, but when you know how many people haven't left you feedback, and that I've left every single person that's ever done a deal with me feedback, I go, gee, I'm just waiting for this day to happen, and then I'll be shooting stars. So still working towards that.
So I got to ask, did you know Griff back then in those days?
Not from those days, more of any time, any seller group, any way that it was possible. I know that I was in a group, maybe you were there too, Debbie, the first time they let an eBay group on campus at eBay.
Oh,
Seller group. So I was there, and we walked into where the Pez collection was, and we were bowing. It's one of those things that then you tell somebody who doesn't have anything to do with eBay, and they go, okay, that's really great. It's all about the Pez.
And now they're gone.
They took Pez through my.
They took that. They took that out when they remodeled.
Yeah,
Anne and I met at our Bay Area sellers meetup group, and then her and I are on that eBay summit that we do once a quarter together.
So we get to share our stories with the new eBay hires, which we feel they're a little green, but some of them are so smart.
So, they are. Well, they're coming from very high tech
programmers and everything. Yeah.
Okay, I am shocked that everyone knows their dates. Well, I guess you can go back and look. I don't know my date on eBay because I've told a story a few times. Here's what's so weird about me. I joined and I bought for the first 2 years. And I joined pretty much right away. It wasn't auction web. It was definitely eBay by this point. But I must have bought too much because I actually called in and said, can you just take my registration away? Like, I unregistered from eBay. So when you look at my date now, it says September 2000, but I was on way before that. But for some reason, I officially got off eBay. I don't think you can do that anymore.
Why would you do that, though?
I don't know. I don't remember. I think I bought too many things. And here's what the problem was. I got hooked back then. When you click on a link, it changes colors. So I would get home from work, and back then there was, not a lot of stuff on eBay like it is today. I would go back to the day before to the last link I clicked on and look at every single thing that got listed every day.
Wow.
I was just kind of infatuated with it. And so I think I spent way too much time doing that. So I'm like, I got to get off eBay. I just got to get off.
I thought maybe your wife had something.
Later, I got laid off from a job. I'm like, I can sell on eBay. I started selling, and then, the rest was history. All right. So speaking of selling, let's see some of your scores, because I noticed we didn't have any Barbra Streisand stuff in your scores.
I do sell Barbra stuff, but it's like I said, there's a glut of it. So I didn't have, I sold something Barbra this week. I sold the Broadway album, an actual record LP, and they haven't paid me yet. So that was this week, and it wasn't for a lot, but I have to get more stuff because I still have so much more to list, as we all do. But, I'll get more of that up.
All right. So tell us about this glass vase that you listed directly on eBay UK.
That is a consignment item. I do a lot of consignment selling, and again, just putting my hand in another pot so that I could see that I could get a variety of things that I never even knew about.
We saw that our customers.
And so this is not a McCoy, but it was from a man who gave me a bunch of McCoy pottery, and so we were having trouble selling it because he said this is a very, very valuable vase. But as we were going into a couple of weeks, maybe close to a month, he started to get cold feet and thought that it wasn't going to sell. So he says, go put it on Europe. I said, well, pick a country because I'm just going to do one. And so we sold it for the equivalency of about $200. And originally he told me this thing was probably worth about $2,000. So we went to Belgium. Somebody probably got a good deal, but by then he was upset about it, and I'm willing to sit on it. I'll do good till canceled and make an offer if I need to. But so we sold it for that, and he was happy with the price. And so, at least we moved it, and it arrived safely, because you never know with these really, really valuable things. Yeah. Double box.
Ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah. Let's talk about this jewelry here. This necklace and earrings.
So that came, again, another consignment person, and I don't know a lot about jewelry, but I'll take their word for it. You can look it up. Obviously, that's what's so great about Google and looking at in the past selling items or Terapeak or whatever. And so it's just one of those things. The more variety I can get going, somebody's going to find that they like it, and then it can sell. So I'm always happy with practically every sale that I have, because it just means I get rid of it.
That's right.
Lakers. Oh, no, that's Raiders.
Well, and this is another one. So somebody found me through my Barbra Streisand connection. And this originally was owned by a movie producer who has passed away, and his son lives in the Bay Area now. So he was a big Laker and Dodger fan in Los Angeles and a movie producer, and had a connection to Barbra. So as I'm talking to the daughter-in-law, she said, well, we have a whole bunch of Laker stuff. I said, well, give it to me, because even in Northern California, we still have Laker people everywhere. And I did sell it probably back down to Southern California, as a lot of the Dodger and Laker stuff ends up down there, and not with the Giants and the Niners. But, you know, anything autographed, anything sports memorabilia, all that kind of stuff, I just glom onto it. It's sort of right up my alley.
Shoes.
Shoes are becoming a staple. I mean, they can't break. You know, you already know they're going to weigh 2 pounds. The box is easy. The shipping is really quick. And so just getting a variety. And now I'm getting a little pickier and wanting to get, you know, it's all about the condition, sort of like with the CDs. So Jason, I don't know whether you have one of those CD refinishers, but I have that in my bag of tricks too, because I did a lot of selling of CDs on Amazon in my time. But it's all about condition. So shoes and CDs are two things that I think you really can't go wrong on if you're going to find still sealed.
And having the dust bags, that's great too.
Yeah. So again, I get a lot of, so I am trying to make it really more difficult to hire me as a consignment seller. And so I'm saying, you know, clothing and shoes, new, and people will give me, you know, variations of that. But if I can get the dust bags, I can get some good designer names, that kind of thing. So it makes it worth my time.
What do you charge when you do consignment?
Do 50-50.
Okay.
And so I do mostly free shipping on most everything. So I build into the price, and I try to have my consignor pay for the shipping, or sometimes we split it. Depends on how much we sell things for. But otherwise, I'm sort of on the losing end. And by the time I cover the fees, I'm still probably getting about 35%. But it's stuff I didn't have to go buy. And if I can move it quickly, it's all about the cash flow. So I really do like consignment for the variety of things that I've sold. I've sold smoking pipes and hunting knives from one particular guy to I had just got a whole lot of frogs. I don't know what kind of frogs, but all kind of frogs. I can't wait till I have my assortment of frogs going out. Things I would never really go purchase myself. All of a sudden I get a lot of things that other people are interested in, and then I get to learn about them.
I hope those aren't stuffed frogs.
No, they're every kind of frog. But
you know, the ones you pick up in Mexico where they're playing poker and drinking and smoking.
That's right. And so as I've learned about it, then I can go into a thrift store, a garage sale, or wherever to buy. And I found I can find things that's even out of the niche of memorabilia and tennis and Barbra and Disney that I'll go crazy over, because I've just learned about a marking that I didn't know. And whether it's jewelry or silver or something, you know, like that, you really learn a lot from your people that you sell on consignment with. So I've really taken that as a sort of a learning opportunity.
Now, are your consignment clients close, or do you have some across the country? Or
most of them are close, so they'll find me by word of mouth. I don't do any advertising, but I do have an older gentleman in Massachusetts, and he gives me the coolest stuff. So he sends a box, and so we split the shipping because he's paid this amount to send me old pamphlets and booklets and newspapers and things that are like old books, like Lincoln and Washington, and just really, really cool things. So one of the things that I sold for him today was an old Bible story about Moses from 1955. That was a comic book. And it only went for $8. But again, I've had some of his stuff so long, so I have to move it. But I really get some cool things because he has specialized things to Massachusetts and the area there that I have more, you know, in touch with, Golden Gate Bridge in California. So I get some really, really cool things from him.
So I don't suppose he ever has any Tiki stuff or Hawaiian.
I've done a little bit of Tiki stuff because of Jason's influence in the past, and I don't have a lot myself. But I knew a guy that you know, was part of Trader Vic's in San Francisco. So I do have a little bit of history with that myself. So
All right, well, if you find anything, just let me know straight up, and
there you go.
Easy
There
to
you
go. All right,
Yes.
let's end on your 2 duds, because no matter how long you've been doing this, you still get duds.
Absolutely. So I had a, let's see, which one is that? Let's see. Oh, so the McCoy guy said, okay, I really want to get rid of all this stuff. So this particular little sheep guy, let's start them all at 99 cents. I said, I really, but not free shipping. 99 cents is not going to be free shipping, but I've made that mistake. So I said, I really don't like to do the 99 cents. That day is gone. We're not going to do that. And of course, it sold for 99 cents. So that was, I made 50 cents. He made 49.
But you had to pay the fees out of yours.
I pay the fee, so I've definitely lost. I'm hoping to get a feedback. I buy a lot of feedback that way.
Oh yeah.
And then you get some notoriety. I had sold a lot of O.J. Simpson stuff at one point, because I have saved everything that I've ever had. This is, miles and miles and miles of all this kind of stuff. But I thought, this football card will definitely go. Nope, that was a dud too. So the O.J. day is over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, it is.
Yep.
And it's our first show we've ever ended on OJ. All right.
And we weren't drinking OJ either.
That's right.
Again, what a quick hour tonight. Just so amazing. And I'd like to have you come back in the future, because I feel like we've only scratched the surface chatting with you.
Oh, absolutely. I love it. You guys have the energy I love too. So that's what I, love talking about all this stuff.
All right, so do us a favor, give us a thumbs up down below for Anne. And if you've not subscribed before, click subscribe. It'll be right down here. And for me or anyone else you subscribe to, click the bell. The bell lets you know when the person you subscribe to is going live. So it's a little bit easier of an alert to get like, oh, shoot, Thrifty Business is live. And if you click that bell when Mom and I go live on Sunday, time to be determined. For selling past our expiration date, you'll know when we're live. So I don't have our topic or our time yet, but I'll figure it out with Mom tonight, and I'll get it up tomorrow. I've already, I did a little thrifting today. My next thrift haul started. So stay tuned for more good stuff like that. And we are off next Thursday. So if you've ever wanted to go party on Thursday night at 8 o'clock, next Thursday is the Thursday to do it. But then come back next week for Craig Dawson. We're talking Max Sold. It's got Max Sold. So.
Yes.
Shoo. It's going to be a great show, teaching you a new platform to sell on. And they have been killing it up in Canada on this platform, but it's not just Canada. So tune in 2 weeks for that. All right. Oh, and Secret Beachcombers, I think we're going to have a bonus show for you that night too. So with that, I will say aloha. Thank you, Anne. And thank you, Debbie. And have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah. See you at eBay.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.